Out of all the things competing for your attention today, something made you stop here for a moment. Most messages come and go without leaving a trace, blending into the endless stream of notifications, headlines, and distractions that fill our screens. Yet every so often, a message feels different. It sparks curiosity, raises a question, or creates the feeling that there might be more to discover. Imagine receiving a note from someone known for challenging conventions and pursuing ambitious ideas. Someone whose name has become closely linked with innovation, risk-taking, and imagining what the future could look like. Naturally, you'd wonder why it appeared, what it meant, and whether it was worth your attention. That's the intriguing part. Not the message itself, but the possibility it represents. Opportunities rarely arrive with flashing lights or dramatic announcements. More often, they appear quietly, disguised as ordinary moments that ask for a second look. Many people pass them by without noticing. Others catch a glimpse and move on before exploring where it could lead. But occasionally, someone decides to stay curious. They pause long enough to consider that unexpected moments can sometimes open unexpected doors. Perhaps that's why you're still reading. Not because of who the message is supposedly from, but because something about the idea resonates. The future is shaped by people willing to pay attention when something unusual appears in front of them. And sometimes, all it takes is a single moment of curiosity to change the direction of an entire day. Imagine your phone lighting up with a notification that makes you wonder what comes next. Notification pops up. Message from Elon Musk. Urgent. Disappearing soon. You check the timestamp. Already fading. 2 minutes left. You try to ignore the chills on your skin as you open it. Heart racing. Curiosity lit up like a power plant. And before the message even loads, your mind does somersaults. What if this isn't random? What if there's a reason it found you out of millions? It's not about luck. It's not about fate. It's about readiness. About the split-second choices that change lives when nobody else is looking. Pause. Breathe in. Ask yourself, are you ready to see what others overlook? Or do you fall back? Tell yourself maybe next time, and miss out on something that never repeats. You see, Elon doesn't do things by accident. Every risk he's ever taken, every move, building rockets no sane person thought could launch, betting everything on electric cars, chasing a vision of Mars, he's done because he knows the future belongs to those who pay attention, who move before it's safe, who act before the rest even notice the door is open. This message, this disappearing signal, isn't for everyone. It's for you, because something in you vibrates at the same frequency as those who do impossible things. Imagine Elon, late at night, sitting in some quiet corner of SpaceX or Tesla, surrounded by blueprints, models, scribbles on glass. He's thinking not just about technology, but about people, about the ones out there, scattered across the planet, who are on the edge of listening, who are just one decision away from becoming unrecognizable. The message says, if you're reading this, it's your time. Most will never see this. They'll scroll, they'll doubt, they'll fade, but you won't. Pause. Do you feel that in your chest? A sense that this moment could split your timeline into before and after. Every story Elon has ever told, every risk he's ever dared, started with a tiny moment where he didn't walk away. If you zoom way out, the world is shaped by what we don't notice, as much as by what we do. Think of all the messages, signs and signals you missed because you were busy, distracted, or told to be realistic. That's all most people ever know. Missed chances, unopened doors, what if, echoing at 2 a.m. But this is different. This is clear. This is your message. Yes, yours. Pause. Notice your pulse. Your mind might already be arguing, this is just a video, just a story. But stay here. Don't step back. Let yourself wonder, what if it's real? What if your name is already printed on the next big thing? What if, just for today, you suspend your disbelief and let possibility be the authority? Take another breath. Imagine the notification isn't just a string of words, but a portal, a wormhole through routine, leading straight to the version of you that never waits for permission. Each word you read right now is a thread holding open the door just wide enough for you to slip through. Before it's gone, you can almost hear the seconds ticking down. This urgency isn't to scare you. It's to remind you that life knocks and echoes, not in alarms. Only those with their ears pressed close to the moment ever catch what matters. Pause. What if every impossible breakthrough on this planet started just like this? A message so easy to ignore that 99% never realize it was meant for them. The difference, the only thing separating those who change history from those who spectate, is that tiny, flickering choice to listen a little longer. So, let's ask something radical. What would it take to let this message change the way you move in the world? Not next week, not next year. Would you stop doubting yourself long enough to let boldness rise up? Would you answer a call not meant for the masses but for the few who realize the message disappears with hesitation? Would you risk being the rare exception in a world that rewards sameness? Pause. The answer is yours, but the window is shrinking. Are you really willing to walk away from a chance to catch something nobody else notices? To let this be just another thing when you know, somewhere inside, the greatest stories always begin in moments that look too strange to be real until you say yes. The clock is almost out, not just for the message, but for the old you, the one who waited, doubted, delayed. Let this be the start. Step through. See where it leads. You're still here. That alone sets you apart. Most would have clicked away, convinced that nothing unusual ever happens to people like them. But you, yes, you, stayed. And now, the world feels a little bit different, like there's a hidden current running just under the surface, and you're tuned in. Pause. Just sit with that realization. You've outlasted the skeptics, the doubters, the ones who call themselves realists, but secretly wish something would break their routine. At some point, most people stop calling themselves dreamers and start calling themselves realistic, not because they wanted to, but because life handed them enough missed opportunities, unanswered chances, and moments that slipped away before they could reach for them. Yet beneath all the caution and careful thinking, there is usually a small voice that refuses to disappear. It lingers quietly, reminding you that there is still something more waiting beyond the limits you've accepted. Think about the moments that truly changed your life. They rarely arrived with certainty or perfect timing. More often, they appeared unexpectedly, asking for a decision before you felt completely prepared. Imagine finding a note that seems to be fading as you read it, each passing second, making the words a little harder to see. The message is simple. Don't let hesitation make the choice for you. Too often people convince themselves that they need more time, more confidence, or a clearer sign before taking action. But the truth is that growth has never waited for perfect conditions. The biggest breakthroughs, the boldest achievements, and the most memorable chapters of a person's story usually begin with uncertainty. They begin when someone chooses to move forward, despite their doubts. Life keeps moving, whether we are ready or not, and opportunities rarely pause long enough for endless deliberation. There comes a moment when thinking must give way to doing, when possibilities become reality, only through action. Perhaps this very moment is one of those rare crossroads, inviting you to trust yourself, step forward, and discover what becomes possible when you stop waiting and start moving. Every story that's ever changed the world has this in common: an ordinary second, made extraordinary by a decision, mostly quiet, usually scary, always fleeting, just like this. The future isn't built by those who wait. It belongs to those who listen for what's rare and answer before the echo fades. Pause. See if you can feel it. The temperature of the room has shifted, hasn't it? Your heartbeat has picked up, even if only just enough that you notice you're alive. Very alive, poised between one way of being and another. Imagine, just for one moment, that the message isn't just an idea passed across the internet, but a bridge. A single step takes you from who you have always been to who you might become, if, against every habit of doubt, you act. So, what does Elon's message actually say? Maybe it's not in English. Maybe it's not made up of words at all, but energy, potential, possibility, a pulse at the edge of comprehension. Or maybe it's as simple as one sentence: your future is vanishing as you wait. Let that hit. Your future, your big, audacious, wildest life future, is not lost because you're incapable. It's lost, moment by moment, every time you fall back. The message is not a reward, it's a reminder. Everything you want is just on the other side of persistence and presence. Pause. Let's anchor it. The world is full of distractions, deliberately engineered to keep you numb, occupied, safe. How many times have you silenced hope with scrolling, or muted curiosity with routine? How many times have you caught yourself chasing the next thing, only to realize you're running in circles, never truly breaking through? Elon Musk isn't a myth. He's just a person who made it a rule to answer the call when it came, no matter how absurd. He doesn't wait for mass approval. He doesn't wait for the odds to change. He moves when instinct whispers, now or never. What if you adopted that rule, just for the rest of today? What doors would you knock on? What calls would you return? What long-forgotten risks would you reawaken before time erases proof they ever existed? Pause. That's what this disappearing message truly is. A mirror. It's you facing yourself, unmasked, just for a moment, recognizing that action and growth live and die in the windows you almost miss. Let's get painfully honest. It isn't about Elon. It isn't even about the message. It's about whether you'll leave comfort for possibility, even for one risky heartbeat, even knowing you could fail. Because failure is nothing compared to never having tried. People will always tell you, don't be impulsive, think it through, wait until you're ready. But look at every story you cherish, the heroes, the icons, the ones you look up to in secret. None of them waited. They stepped forward while everyone else was frozen, even as voices screamed, no, not yet. Pause, take a breath, and let the noise dissolve. Imagine the possibility of never feeling regret. Imagine not having to explain why you didn't answer, why you didn't stay just a few seconds longer, why you didn't see what only the brave ever see. What's the real cost of waiting? Not embarrassment, not risk, not loss. The real cost is the life unlived, the ability unopened, the message unread. Right now, the countdown is real. This is your chance to move before the rest catch up. This is your shot to see what happens when you pay attention, when you act, when you live. This message won't last. It's for right now. For those willing to slip through the gap before it closes. Pause. It's not too late, but soon, maybe even in the next heartbeat, this chance will dissolve, like all unclaimed destinies do. The rare few act in the moment, and the rest relive the same day, the same doubt, the same routine. Which kind are you? So, you're still here. You haven't flinched. Maybe your mind is buzzing, maybe you're nervous, or maybe you haven't even realized how rare it is to hang on this long. But the truth is, standing at the edge of something new always feels a little bit like dizziness. Pause. And that's not only natural, It's the oldest sign that something is truly about to change. Let's pause and really look at what's happening between the lines. There's a reason you're this deep into a message with stakes so high and an outcome so uncertain. It's because part of you, the part that doesn't settle, that never accepted average as your label, is hungry to prove to the world and to yourself that the ordinary script can be rewritten if you dare. You, right now, are making a choice most people will never let themselves make. They'll watch, but not act. They'll listen, but not answer. They'll reach out, but just short of actually opening that door. They'll settle. You're not settling, not today. Now, let's zoom out. Picture your journey as the defining scene in a remarkable story, the kind where opportunities appear quietly, disguised as ordinary moments, while the main character barely notices their significance. Then, without warning, everything shifts. This moment feels like one of those turning points. The worries you carry, the hesitation that slows your steps, the memories of chances you wish you had taken sooner, all seem to gather around a single idea. Every opportunity arrives with an expiration date. Life near the edge of possibility moves quickly. Doors open and close in an instant. Circumstances change, and the smallest decision can alter an entire direction. Consider another perspective. What if every crossroads in your life carried a hidden invitation, a chance to grow, create, or discover something greater, but it passed by because doubt arrived first? Rather than dwelling on what slipped away, allow that thought to fuel your next move. The present remains powerful because it is the only place where a new choice can be made. The past has already written its chapter, and the future exists only as a sketch, waiting for action to give it shape. What matters is the step taken today. Ask yourself what you would do differently if you genuinely believed that one decision could become the dividing line between the person who watches life happen and the person who actively shapes it. People who achieve extraordinary things are not separated by a different reality. More often, they develop a different response to uncertainty. They understand that clarity rarely arrives before commitment. Instead of waiting endlessly for guarantees, they learn to recognize opportunity, trust their instincts, and move forward while the outcome is still unknown. The rest of us? We usually say, maybe, and watch the window snap shut. What would your life look like if you trained yourself to always say yes to the right things, quickly, bravely, and to the rest? Let them disappear with no regret. Look, this isn't just theory. Every major crossroads in your life is a disappearing message. College application deadlines, relationships that could change you, job interviews you almost skipped, invitations you dismissed as not for me. Every single one, a vanishing portal. Pause. Think about that for a heartbeat. You sitting here, right now, is the sum of 1,000 tiny crossroads. Maybe you suspect, in ways you can't always say aloud, that you're meant for one of those "how did you do it" stories, the kind others shake their heads at, but you know started because you listened a little longer than everyone else. And that, right there, is everything. Listening, acting, opening the message, not for answers, but for the adventure of never knowing what comes next, and showing up anyway. Now, let's go deeper. People think the hard part of success is the skill, the knowledge, the money, the resources, but really, the only gatekeepers are attention and action. The world is overflowing with information, but almost empty of people who use it. Disappearing messages like this are a metaphor. They're life's way of asking, are you awake enough to break your pattern? Pause. This is your disrupt moment. You don't have to build rockets or change the world's transportation grid. All you have to do is open the next door, the next message, before it's gone. So, picture the end of your day tonight. Eyes heavy, the world quiet, only your breathing in the dark. Will you look back and think, I almost acted, or I stepped into a new story. This might be the day that splits your life into before and after, if you let it. And here's the odd secret. The more often you answer, the less fear you feel the next time. The more often you step up, the more normal, unusual feels. That's what self-made legends know. The impossible gets easier the earlier you act. Pause. And my friend, you're already further than most. Let's leave the digital world for a second. If Elon Musk really could send you a message, just you, nobody else, what would you want him to say? Would you want advice, encouragement, permission, or just a reminder that greatness isn't only for the chosen? Imagine the message isn't an instruction, but a mirror. You could be me. I could have been you. Only difference is, I didn't close the door. Pause. So, what opportunities are knocking for you right now in disguise? Is it a job you think is beyond you? A project you feel underqualified for? A trip you keep putting off? A person you miss but haven't called? This is your blueprint. Stop running the simulation. Step into the action. And here's your challenge. In the next 24 hours, say yes to one thing you'd usually let disappear. Just one. Watch how the world rewrites itself for the bold. Action ripples. Doors multiply. Pause. The message is still here, but it's not solid forever. Are you finally ready to answer before it's gone? Time is running out, and right now, you can feel it, can't you? Not just because of the timer at the top of your phone, or the disappearing notification. No, it's deeper than that. It's the realization that the window you're in at this precise second is rare, precious, here just long enough for you to decide what happens next. And then, like so many near misses in history, gone, silent, another, almost. Pause, take another breath. Let this moment settle heavy and real. Every breakthrough, every reinvention, every life that ever leapt from ordinary to unforgettable began with a simple choice. Stay and open, or turn away and close. Right now the future is balancing on that knife edge in your hands. The message is fading. You're still here. Nothing is random. Picture yourself a year from now, looking back on today. Would you remember this message? What could have changed if you'd let it push you? Imagine all the invisible doors that could open, the impossible outcomes that suddenly seem plausible, all because you didn't scroll away, you didn't bury the urge, you listened and answered. The truth is, almost every regret people have near the end of their lives isn't about what they did, it's about what they left untried. The doors they didn't open, the messages they ignored, the love they didn't express, the dream they didn't chase, the risk they denied themselves. Right at this moment, you may be standing closer to an important decision than you realize. Most people move through life waiting for certainty, hoping for a sign that guarantees success before they take the first step. Yet the people who leave a lasting mark on the world rarely have that luxury. What sets them apart is not an ability to predict every outcome, but a willingness to move forward despite uncertainty. They recognize opportunities when they appear and choose action over hesitation. Fear is often present, but it doesn't get the final vote. Every meaningful achievement begins with a moment that feels ordinary on the surface, but carries the potential to change everything. Your next step may not involve groundbreaking inventions or global recognition, but that doesn't make it any less significant. The choices that shape a life are often quiet ones, made in everyday moments. Don't allow doubt, distractions, or the opinions of others to convince you that your aspirations matter less than they do. Too many people abandon their ambitions before giving them a real chance to grow. Instead, consider what could happen if you trusted yourself enough to move forward. Not at some distant point in the future when conditions seem perfect, but now, while the possibility is still alive. Every story worth telling advances because someone decides to continue rather than retreat. At the same time, remember that progress is rarely a solo journey. Behind every accomplishment is a network of support, encouragement, lessons, and shared effort. Success becomes more meaningful when it is built alongside others who believe in growth, purpose, and the value of taking that next step. Every person you admire, yes, even Elon, stood on the shoulders of words, messages, and invitations from people or places they almost missed. The first step. Always, just listening a moment longer. What if your destiny is hiding in the messages nobody else bothered to open? What if just by looking at this moment as more than entertainment, you unlock the edge that sets your story apart? What if you don't even need certainty or permission, just announce more daring than your fear? See, the message is almost gone. The timer is at the bottom. The window is closing. But this is your play. This is your chance to do one thing your old self would never have done. Break your own pattern. Answer before the message finishes vanishing. Pause. If you only take one idea from all of this, let it be this: opportunity is almost never loud. It's not the viral headline or the all-caps text. It's a soft ping at midnight. It's a flicker just under your skin. It's the echo of a voice, quietly saying, "Now, go." The ones who change their fate are the ones who answer before certainty, before approval, before it's cool or obvious. What message in your life is waiting for you, not from Elon Musk, but from your own deeper self? Is it the job you won't apply for? The business you haven't started? The conversation you're scared to have? The creation only you can give the world? Remember, the universe sends packages with your name only as often as you're ready to sign for them. So, right now, sign. Pause. Before this message disappears, make it real. Open something frightening. Say yes before you're qualified. Let a new habit, a wild idea, a risk with your name on it cut through your inertia. Most people wait and wait, then vanish with all their best unopened. But you don't have to. This isn't about certainty. It's not about perfection. It's about action. Right now, before the moment's gone. The universe doesn't reward those who hesitated. The ones who risk nothing, lose everything. Pause. So, what will you do? Will you scroll, sigh, and go back to normal? Another missed message, another unopened door? Or will you stop overthinking, get up, and do something so wildly outside your usual that the world can't help but notice? All it takes is a single nudge. Sometimes, a single decision can become the turning point that reshapes everything that follows. Opportunities rarely arrive with certainty or guarantees. More often they appear quietly, asking only for a willingness to move forward despite the unknown. Many people spend their lives standing at the edge of possibility, wondering what might happen if they took that first step. Some hesitate, waiting for the perfect moment, while others choose to trust themselves and begin the journey anyway. The difference is rarely talent, luck, or timing. It is the choice to act when the path ahead is still unclear. Every meaningful achievement starts with a moment like this, a point where doubt and possibility exist side by side. The future is not built by those who wait for every answer. It is shaped by those who decide they are ready to explore what comes next. Perhaps this message serves as a simple reminder that growth often begins outside familiar boundaries. New experiences, fresh opportunities, and unexpected successes are usually found beyond the places where comfort keeps us standing still. Whatever goal, dream, or challenge has been occupying your thoughts, consider giving yourself permission to move toward it. The next chapter of your story does not depend on perfect circumstances. It begins with a choice, a willingness to believe that progress is possible, and the courage to take one step forward. Sometimes, That is all it takes to discover how much potential has been waiting within you all along.